Well, hello there, and welcome to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath, sitting in the big chair today. And of course, we are getting into the landing pattern for the 4th of July. Independence Day is right upon us. And of course, with that, everyone wants to know, are the fireworks going to go off? Am I actually going to be able to see them? Is it going to be soggy? I'm not remotely qualified to answer that question, but Michelle Morgan is here, and she is, and I got to tell you, for those of us that have lived here for a while and go to Disney, we're like fireworks, rain or shine. But if you're going to one of the municipal things, you're wondering, okay, what are their contingencies? And, maybe you're setting them off at your house. You're kind of wondering, is it going to be a little soggy? So what are we looking at for the weekend?
Those are all very important questions. And the timeline, it is very important because everybody will be celebrating the 4th of July on Friday. So here's what's going on. We'll get right into what's happening here across Central Florida. I am tracking some spotty showers across the peninsula, some pockets of heavy rain, but mainly confined over parts of Brevard County this morning. As we go through the afternoon hours, abundant moisture is in the atmosphere, and rain chances will significantly go up once again across Central Florida between 70 to 80%. So we are not only looking at a soggy day ahead, we're actually looking at several soggy days ahead. So what we're tracking will continue to dodge showers and downpours as we go through the next several days. And don't rule out fireworks on Friday. You have to continue to pay attention to the forecast because things will continue to change. Some spots will see a dry slot, some others won't. And then the flooding remains the biggest threat across Central Florida because the ground is so saturated, really can't handle more water, especially now that we're expecting more rain in the forecast. Live look outside in Daytona Beach. It is hot, it is humid out there, and you can see folks out there enjoying the water. Water temperatures are in the upper 70s and lower 80s, so it looks like a great time out there with the conditions or the current conditions. So temperatures are at 85 degrees in Orlando, 85 in Daytona Beach, 86 in Sanford, and 82 degrees in Melbourne. Now, the forecast highs 87 in Orlando, New Smyrna Beach, 89 in Titusville, and temperatures today will be slightly below average due to the rain we are expecting. Usually we're in the lower 90s, we'll be a few degrees below that. Hour by hour forecast showing those rain chances going up through the early afternoon hours, keeping our temperatures steady. Later on this evening, a few isolated downpours are certainly possible, keeping those rain chances a little bit lower around the 30 to 40% range. Now let's go ahead and time everything out. As we go through, again, the rest of today, we'll continue to see showers and storms popping up across Central Florida. Downpours are certainly possible. Around the 8-9 o'clock hour, seeing some lingering showers and embedded thunderstorms. Tomorrow morning, I do think we will start off the day dry, but due to the abundant moisture across Central Florida, we'll continue to see showers and storms popping up once again, so don't put away the rain gear yet. Around the 4 or 5 o'clock hour, continuing to see showers and storms, and then around 7, getting heavy, especially along the I-4 corridor pointing north and west. So Sumter, Lake, parts of Marion County, getting in on that heavy rain. And then as we go through the rest of the evening, some dry air could potentially move in, drying things out slightly just in time for the fireworks. So we'll continue to watch it. Again, things are continuing to evolve. And then as we head into the weekend, Saturday morning starting dry, and then showers and storms popping up through the afternoon hours. So here's your holiday weekend forecast. 80% chance for rain Friday. Again, we could see some dry areas in time for the fireworks as we head into Friday night. On and off downpours. Saturday, 70% chance, high of 87, possible flooding. Again, it'll be isolated, especially in those low-lying areas, so we'll have to continue to watch it. And then Sunday, bringing down those rain chances, some to 60%. In terms of the rainfall potential, this is through Saturday evening. Many spots picking up between an inch to 3 inches, and of course, locally higher amounts are possible. This particular model forecasting or predicting a little over 3 inches in Orlando, over an inch in Melbourne, and over 2 inches in Cocoa Beach, Lakeland, and as well up to an inch in the Villages. So a lot of rain is on the way as we go through the next couple of days or so we'll have to watch it. Now switching gears, what's happening here in the tropics. National Hurricane Center continues to highlight parts of the Atlantic for possible tropical or subtropical development. So abundant moisture over the state of Florida could get caught up by a decaying front, and that could we could see an area of low pressure try to form in this highlighted area. 20% chance in the next 2 days, a 60% in the next several days. We'll have to continue to watch it. So here's a look at your 7 day. 87 today, 80% chance for rain. 87 tomorrow, also an 80% chance. But again, there is the possibility where we could see a dry night ahead. Most of that rain moving out just in time for the fireworks. And heading into the weekend, we're going to keep the rain and storm chances medium to high with temperatures in the upper 80s, Keith.
You kind of wonder with the fireworks, if people don't have the fireworks this time of year, like if they're not setting them off in their neighborhoods, there's going to be a lot of dogs, especially two at my house, that'll be very
Absolutely.
happy for that. So,
Yes.
and the good thing too, we've gotten so much rain that we don't have the danger of the fireworks hopefully starting any wildfires because the ground is going to be saturated. We do have the moisture out there, so that's relatively a good thing. So, all in all, not too bad for the 4th of July.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And last check, the drought index, it comes out every Thursday in the morning. Because of the rain, it has helped the drought situation significantly. So when you're talking about fireworks and things, potentially setting on fire, at least we're not dealing with, dry brush or dry vegetation. So in that standpoint, that is positive news.
Yeah, I've got a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old who we do not pass a fireworks stand, and they're not like, Dad, and I'm like, no.
Oh, I hear you. I have an 8-year-old, and every time we see one, he's like, let's stop. And I'm like, let me just speed up a little bit. No.
Yeah. But I remember being that age and pestering my dad to buy them for me
Yeah.
because, you're a kid. You want to see some
It's
stuff
fun.
blow up.
Absolutely. But you're right. There's so many events happening across Central Florida, celebrating the 4th of July. And, the forecast is so important because if it is raining, they will either just not have this or will not have the firework display or just cancel it, or they'll have to, push it a little bit later.
Yeah, my wife and I always say, we kind of got spoiled by when you go to Disney and you see professional fireworks.
Yes.
And then you come home on the 4th of July and you've got the thing you got from the store for $30. It's not nearly as impressive.
It's not at all. But you know what? It will do.
All right. Thank you very much. Good forecast out there. We're getting some rain, much needed rain, and hopefully it clears off for those shows to go off. Thank you, Michelle.
Fingers crossed. You're welcome.
All right, from all eyes on possible weather and fireworks to all eyes on Washington. Of course, the Senate, with a 50-50 vote and a tiebreaker by the vice president, passed President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill. It's a tax cuts package that also makes several changes to spending. Critics have pointed out that it makes very deep cuts to Medicaid, something that could be devastating for rural hospitals. It does provide an extension of the tax cuts that were first implemented in 2017, preventing them from sunsetting. But critics, especially budget fiscal hawks, have pointed to the fact that the bill would put an extra $3.3 trillion onto the United States' already growing deficit. CBS News' Willie James Inman reports.
I'm here to take my sweet time on behalf of the American people.
For hours this morning, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke on the House floor in an effort to hold up the final vote on President Trump's signature legislation.
Everyday Americans will be hurt by the one big ugly bill.
The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Overnight, the massive budget bill made it through a key procedural vote after several Republicans who had been against the changes the Senate made to the legislation overcame their opposition and voted yes.
House Speaker Mike Johnson credited President Trump's involvement for getting the GOP holdouts to come around.
He helped answer questions and articulate his vision and what this bill will mean for the country.
Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill boosts border security and ICE enforcement, increases defense spending, and extends his 2017 tax cuts. That includes an increase to the child tax credit, a $1,000 savings account for newborns, plus no taxes on tips and overtime pay.
The hardworking families of America are hungry for this kind of change. Take power away from Washington, give it back to the people, and watch what happens. Great things.
But it also implements new work requirements and other changes to safety net programs, including SNAP, the Food Assistance Program, and Medicaid. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the Medicaid cuts alone could total roughly $930 billion, with at least 11.8 million people at risk of losing their health coverage. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Well, back here at home, we are keeping an eye on the Lake County Jail and the Lake County Courthouse, where defendant Robin Severance Lopez, the estranged wife of Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez, is waiting to go before a judge. Robin is going to have to go before the judge and show that the money that she's intending to use to bond out of jail was obtained legally. This is a racketeering charge, and in these cases, it's relatively common for the court to ask the defendant to prove that the money came from legitimate sources, not from illegal sources, the money that is being used to pay for the bond. News 6's Angie Casada has been covering this story since the very beginning, and she has the latest on what we expect to hear today.
Robin Lopez is still here at the Lake County Jail after the judge set her bond at $400,000. Today, her lawyer will push for her release, arguing that the money she has for her bond is legitimate and not tied to any criminal activity. 1 week after Marcos Lopez bonded out, his estranged wife, Robin Severance Lopez, is now the one fighting to be freed. The 50-year-old faces a second-degree felony charge accused of conspiracy to commit racketeering in a multi-million-dollar illegal gambling operation. Prosecutors say she helped facilitate money flowing through the operation, even offering a property to secure Marcos's bond, despite their ongoing divorce.
And at her arrest on yesterday, the defendant had 2 bank receipts in her possession indicating she had made 2 deposits, one in the amount of $117,000 dated June 11th, and an additional $60,000 deposit dated June 13th, both of which were made approximately 1 week after Marcos Lopez's arrest.
Defense attorney Michelle Yard says she provided documentation showing the bond money is clean and released a statement to News 6 saying it's tragic that Ms. Severance Lopez has been swept up in this case given her lack of involvement in any conspiracy. I am highly optimistic that the judge will finally allow her release from detention at the hearing. Now, that hearing is set for this afternoon, and if the judge approves the plan, Robin Lopez could be walking out of the jail later on tonight. Her next court date is set for July 21st. Of course, if there's any developments on this case, we'll keep you updated on air and over on clickorlando.com. Reporting in Lake County, Angie Casaba, News 6.
And of course, News 6 will have a crew at the Lake County Jail if Robin Lopez does bond out. We will be there to ask her some questions as she leaves the facility. And we'll be right back. And welcome back to News 6 Extra. I'm Christopher Heath. Just into our newsroom a couple minutes ago, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office will be undergoing a forensic audit after the arrest of Marcos Lopez. Of course, we just told you about Robin Lopez. His estranged wife could bond out today. Now the office that he used to head, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, will be undergoing a forensic audit. Relatively standard practice here for the state of Florida. Anytime you have a leader suspended by the governor, it's often just good practice to go in and account the books and make sure everything is on the up and up. So that will be going forward. Of course, an interim sheriff has been appointed by the governor, and Marcos Lopez remains suspended from his position. Well, here in the greater Central Florida area, the Boys and Girls Club provides a number of services. One of them is summer activities and after-school activities. These things are all paid for through a series of grants that come from different levels. One area that the Boys and Girls Club gets money from is the federal government, but recently the federal government has put a pause on a lot of these grants for these types of programs, saying they needed to be reevaluated. The problem for the Boys and Girls Club is they already have kids that need the attention, that need the activities during the summer and after school, and right now they're trying to figure out how to make do without the money that they were promised from the feds. News 6's Jarrell Baker reports.
Jobs will be lost, number of kids served and families served will be lost, and that's not a place that any of us want.
The Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida say that around $2.4 million from the 21st Century Community Learning Center grants is now frozen.
It's a deficit that we were not expecting of over $250,000 just for the month of July alone.
CEO Jamie Merrill says that Tuesday, when the money was supposed to be distributed, the Education Department told him the Trump administration is withholding $6 billion in education grant money for review with no timeline. She says it puts several of their programs in jeopardy.
We have a result that over 95% of our children in Central Florida are at or above grade level, and it is because of programs like 21st Century that's giving us the funding to provide the tutors and the mentors that are coming in to serve those kids for that.
Let it go through here, and then this motor would kind of like build up force, and that way it couldn't drop.
High schooler Natalia Charles says she's been going to the club in Pine Hills since the first grade and says the programs have helped improve her grades and sharpen her skills during the summer.
Do you think that kind of helped your learning and stuff over the summer as well?
I do think so, because with coming to Boys and Girls Club throughout the summer, it always keeps me learning new things instead of like just being at home and learning nothing and scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or things like that.
Merrill says now they're in limbo.
That's not an impact that anybody wants when we're working with kids to create a better and brighter future.
Losing the funding impacts nearly 1,200 to 1,500 kids across 5 counties they serve in Central Florida.
On a national impact, you're looking at over 900 organizations that could be affected and over 220,000 children that may not be served, resulting in over 6,000 jobs lost.
In Orange County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Such a vital program. The summer drop-off for a lot of students is very real. You see that with kids when they go from one grade to the next. A lot of the things that they were supposed to retain, they don't. These kind of programs are incredibly valuable. Hopefully the money comes through for them sooner rather than later. Well, Edgewater is one of those roads that if you've ever driven through College Park, you've probably driven on Edgewater. But it's a project 18 years in the making to redesign it, to reevaluate it, and to make it more in the 21st century. News 6's Lisa Bell takes a look at the project that's in the works and what it will mean for those who live in College Park and those who live in Central Florida.
What are we going to see that's different?
Well, let's take here, for example, the lane entries in the middle. Those will become islands so that people can't drive in the middle. They're going to be able to use them as turn lanes.
Orlando City Commissioner Robert Stewart says the redesign of Edgewater Drive with landscaped medians and raised crosswalks
Walk sign is on the cross, Edgewater.
will help slow down traffic.
And then these fine trees are going to be going away.
Yes, they'll all be going away. If you do that, then what you can do is you can buy some space along the side here, okay? And then if you can buy some space here, then you can buy the pedestrian space. And you can end up with about an 8-foot sidewalk.
Also going away, the current dedicated bike lane.
From about here down, we're going to get rid of the bike lane because we're going to be slowing traffic down. So we'll end up having share lanes. The lane will be a little bit bigger.
So-called share lanes often feature special markings indicating it's a shared path.
That's shocking that they're taking away bike lanes.
We asked people along Edgewater Drive what they think of the plan.
I have enough problems getting home safely as it is. We're going to share it with the traffic. That's odd.
Tim Indorado says he rides an e-bike to and from work in College Park every day.
You see more and more e-bikes nowadays. You would think they would make lanes more accessible, not take lanes away. As soon as you turn your battery on, like, it goes. So God forbid someone steps out, and you're hitting people on the sidewalk now.
I don't want people's dogs getting run over by bikes or a bike swerving into traffic because they want to miss somebody.
And some of this could push some of the traffic through the residential area. That would have to be looked at too. That's very important.
Wait.
Stewart says the project will be done in 4 phases.
Phase A should start next year.
Breaking ground.
Yes. And Phase A is to put a roundabout at Lakeview.
After that, the new landscaping and medians will take shape, with the entire project expected to be complete in about 4 years.
And that was Lisa Bell reporting. Of course, Michelle Morgan and I discussed at the start of the broadcast that the 4th of July is right around the corner. Fireworks going to be going off, some professional shows and some amateur ones around Central Florida. But, one of the things that we always have to keep in mind is that there's a lot of people who don't really react well to loud noises, and there's also a lot of animals that don't react well to loud noises. And it's not just our lovely dogs and cats at home. A lot of animal shelters and wildlife refuges have to kind of get ready for this time of year because of what the fireworks will do to the animals that call those places home. News 6's Emily McLeod reports.
I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod. We're here at the Trout Lake Nature Preserve, where wildlife experts are asking people to think twice before setting off fireworks this 4th of July. They say the lights and sound can be really disruptive to animals.
They're going to be panicked and scared. They don't know what's going on. We know they don't.
Eileen Tramontana is the Trout Lake Nature Preserve Executive Director. She braces for fireworks on holidays because they can scare wildlife.
Every year, usually New Year's and 4th of July, in that we often find dead animals that have either gone across the road and gotten hit or on our property.
Eileen suggests staying away from wildlife areas when setting off fireworks, opting for fireworks that don't make as much noise, and not setting them off past 10 o'clock at night.
Well, when they hear it, all they can think of is their world is blowing up. They don't understand fireworks. They're not trained to be tolerant of it.
And it's not just wildlife that get frightened by the fireworks. Household pets can too. The Lake County Animal Shelter is prepping to keep hundreds of animals calm on the 4th. Can you kind of run through that for us, what you all do to keep all of the animals that are here comfortable?
Sure. So we do some enrichment items, some nice Kongs and peanut butter to keep them busy, turn the radio up, make sure everybody is closed in securely so that they can get through the celebration.
What should people know ahead of this holiday as far as keeping their pets safe?
We're encouraging people to keep your pets at home. Give them a nice safe place that they can relax, whether that's a crate, a nice closed door in a room, close your blinds, turn on some white noise, maybe get your radio blaring so that they don't, are not so impacted by those fireworks.
I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Well, I can tell you Rex and Lando will be huddling up tomorrow night to get through the fireworks at our house. Well, that is all our time for News 6 Extra. I'm Christopher Heath. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.